Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 11, Episode 19. Bravo needs to know when to just wrap a season up, because this episode really was not needed. It gave very much a filler episode. It was disjointed, it was discombobulated, it was convoluted, it was just all over the place, and I wasn't here for it whatsoever. I swear to you, there was one point in the episode when I was like, we still have 25 minutes left? Like, really? Can we just wrap this up now? Sutton, you had me confused, especially towards the end. I'm like, so do you want to be friends with Erika now? Like, what's going on? And one more thing. Let me say that I saw Kathy and Kyle were on Watch What Happens Live, and Kathy addressed all the backlash that she got over not attending my girl Garcelle's Haitian dinner party. Kathy said that she wasn't feeling well, she was sick, and production told her not to attend Garcelle's party. But I said, girl, but you didn't address our other question, which was, why didn't you have the decency to let Garcelle know that she wouldn't be attending? I'm still side-eyeing you, Kathy, but I was cracking up because Kathy kept saying how much she just loves Garcelle. So I said, okay, girl, I guess, but don't pull that stunt again, Kathy. The next time Garcelle has an event, you better be there. So with all that being said, let's just jump right on into it because we don't have a minute to spare. The episode starts off with all the ladies going to a wine tasting in Temecula. Everybody except for Erika, because we know that Erika wants some time to herself with everything that's been happening. So they all get to the vineyard and they're greeted with a nice glass of rosé. I said, I know that's right. Let me just say, I love a good wine tasting. It's so much fun. I love the ambiance. I had the best time when I went to Wolfer Estate when I was in the Hamptons. Over the summer. And I mean, all that wine. And you always say, okay, I'm gonna pace myself. And then you don't. Like, who does? You know, you're there to drink wine and enjoy yourself. So now they go to the next area where they sit down to eat and have some more wine. Everybody is good and lit. We see Garcelle swishing some white wine, talking about, I just want to take a bath in it. Garcelle says in her confessional that she wishes that dating was like wine tasting, where she could just line up all her favorites and then take them home. Here comes Kyle bringing up the whole Tom mess. She's like, Tom was burglarized and how she was shocked that he was still in the home because she thought that everything had been seized. Here comes Rinna chiming in, adding more to the story, talking about, and while this happened, since he has cataracts, one of his cataracts blew up in his eye, so he had to go to the hospital and get surgery on that. So then she talks about how Erika's son went to go help him and his car flipped over 4 times. It is so funny to me how nobody can seem to remember how many times Erika's son's car flipped over. Erika said 5 times. Then when Kyle and Dorit told their husbands the story at Kyle's little dinner party, then they were saying 6 times. Now Rinna's saying 4 times. I said, can y'all get the details right, please? So now Kyle adds on about how it was snowing the night that this all happened. So they're like, snowing? What? Crystal says in her confessional, like, we live in LA. The last time I saw snow in LA was when I was 11. So pretty much Crystal was like, girl, stop. Garcelle says, these stories sound unbelievable because they're very hard to believe. I said, Garcelle, you're a lot nicer than me because I would have called it what it is. It's a lie, sis. They're unbelievable because none of this happened. It's a figment of Erika's imagination. Sutton says, I am no longer playing Fancy Drew. Y'all can ask questions and figure it out, but I'm out. I already got cursed out and threatened at Kathy's house. I don't want to have any more of that. So count me out, but y'all have fun. Kyle brings up how Erika is upset at everybody for deserting Tom during his time of need. So now Crystal gets emotional and says, I know what it's like to care for somebody who had dementia, and she brings up how she cared for her father when he got sick. And it also kills her to watch Erika going through a similar thing. So while this is going on, Kathy gets up from the table rather abruptly and she says, hey guys, I'm gonna go back to the hotel because I have a massage waiting for me. And then we find out that she had like a neck ache and a headache. And then she says in her confessional that she got hit in the head with a golf ball when she was a little girl on a Barbie commercial set. So now Kyle starts doing her impressions of everybody, and she gets up and starts imitating Sutton's walk. We all know that Sutton kind of waddles when she walks. You know how everything is always like 20 times funnier when you're drunk? Because the way Garcelle was dying laughing, I started laughing because her laugh was just so infectious. So they're all cracking up. Kyle sits back down and she starts imitating Erika. And of course, she couldn't just imitate Erika saying something, normal. She imitated Erika when Erika was telling Sutton off, saying how the door is closed. I said, Kyle, you just can't help yourself. While I can't stand Kyle, I did burst out laughing when she did that Erika impression. I said, okay, that was on point. I'll give you that, Kyle. I'll give you a half a point for that. Now we move on to the next scene with Kyle, Dorit, and Sutton in Kyle and Kathy's penthouse suite. Dorit says that she just feels so bad for Erika and all that she's going through, but also how Erika cleared a lot of stuff up when they had their beach picnic. So while Kyle and Dorit are talking about this whole thing, Sutton is sitting there looking at the both of them like, y'all sound and look crazy. Sutton says, I don't understand how you can be allegedly unconscious for 12 hours. Like, make it make sense for me. Dorit says, you don't want to push Erika too far, but you also look like an idiot by not asking questions. I said, y'all are all fools for not saying, you know what, Erika, none of this makes any sense. I think you're lying, because y'all are all afraid of her. If this were anybody else, y'all would have ran them off the show. But for some reason, y'all are sitting up here pretending like you believe what Erika is telling y'all. And Sutton hit the nail on the head when she said, I feel like y'all have all drank the Kool-Aid, and that's the reason why y'all don't want to look at the facts. Because the facts are glaring that none of what Erika is saying makes any sense. If Tom had driven off a cliff like she said 10 episodes ago, if he had really gotten burglarized, if the cataracts in his eyes had blown up and he had to get some surgery for him, if her son's car flipped over 4, 5, 6, 50, 11 times, you don't think that this would have made front page news on every major publication? Like, I just don't understand why they're sitting up here allowing her to lie straight to their faces and lie to the viewers. I honestly won't be surprised if Erika has some dirt on Rinna, Kyle, and Dorit, because that's the only explanation that makes sense for why they're going so hard for Erika and to protect her. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Kyle and Mauricio hired Tom for their lawsuits that they were going through a few years ago. I just would not be surprised if they're all connected to each other in some way, shape, or form. And that's the real reason why Kyle, Dorit, and Rinna have Erika's back so hard, because she has some inside tea on them that they don't want to get out. That's the only explanation, because none of this makes sense. Kyle, Dorit, and Sutton all go downstairs to meet the rest of the ladies for dinner. Dinner is held outside, and the setup was absolutely gorgeous. So the food is all there, the champagne, and when I tell you, those crab claws looked like everything and then some. I love some seafood. Give me some crab, some lobster, some calamari, some oysters. What? Like, I am in heaven. But I digress. And before you start in those comments talking about how you always seem to bring up food in every single recap, yes, I do. So Kyle starts off the conversation and she says, "Today was such a nice day, but we really missed you, Erika. We wish that you could have joined us." I said, why does Kyle always have to start off every single conversation? And just the ass kissing with the, "Oh my gosh, Erika, we just miss you so much and we just really wish that you could have been there." Like, what's wrong with you? I've never seen anything like it. I think it's pathetic. It was so annoying. Like, it was the Erika hour during this scene. I was like, y'all can't talk about anything or anybody else? Then she goes on to ask Erika what she did all day. And Erika says, "Oh, I was just watching some murder mysteries. And it really took my mind off of what's going on with me because it's like, well, I really don't have it so bad." Then she goes on to say how, yes, her situation sucks, but this man regarding Tom did a lot of good stuff for a lot of people and people need to step up to the plate. I said, Tom did a lot of good stuff for a lot of people? Girl, what? Sweetheart, did you not forget that Hulu did that documentary on you called The Housewife and the Hustler? And they interviewed quite a few of the victims who did not receive their settlement money. That burn victim who only got a portion of what was rightfully owed to him. Erika, whoever advised you to say the dumb stuff that's been flying out of your mouth all season, they told you wrong. They set you up, sis, because you have been sounding like a true jackass and incriminating yourself every single episode this season. Dorit says, if he did what's being said about him, then he did a lot of bad shit too. I said, Dorit, I really wish you had the courage to say that to her face. So now Dorit brings up how Erika's son's car flipped over 5 times on his way to see Tom. So the way Sutton was sitting there looking so disgusted and disturbed, she says it's like they all want to prove to Erika that they're her friend. And it's a lot different than how they did Denise. And baby, Bravo rolled the tape back and we see last season Kyle questioning Denise Richards. I don't care what anybody says. I think I'm going to stick with my theory that Erika has something on Kyle, Dorit, and Rinna because there is no way that Denise Richards got the 3rd degree over her allegedly sleeping with Brandi Glanville. First of all, whether Denise Richards had sex with Brandi Glanville is none of y'all's concern in the first place. She can do whatever she wants to do. She's a grown woman. You're sitting up here defending Erika and Tom, knowing what the allegations are against them. But Denise Richards was the one who needed to be questioned and ran off the show. Got it. Then Kyle brings up Erika's Instagram and what Erika's son thinks about it. Erika says, he doesn't say a damn thing about my Instagram. I say mommy is broke and I need to pay the bill somehow, so he's not questioning me about anything. Everybody's laughing. Of course, Kyle and Rinna have to be super extra. You would swear that Erika was on Def Comedy Jam, the way they were just, breaking their backs to get those laughs in. So Garcelle says in her confessional how everybody is just kissing Erika's ass and it feels really phony. Now Kyle makes it super awkward and she's like, so now Sutton isn't talking. Like, what's the matter, Sutton? Like, kitty cat got your tongue? I just said, girl, that was so unnecessary. But like I keep saying, Kyle's a coward. She's a loser. She likes doing that slick stuff, but then trying to act like she's so nice and warm and cares about people, yet throwing you under the bus at the same time. And another thing that really gets me with this group, it's like, Dorit, Kyle, and Rinna, y'all don't think that Erika can see through your phoniness? Like, people can see when you're trying too hard to be in their good graces. Like, your interactions with Erika are not genuine. They're not real. It's very much, I'm afraid of you. Please like me and please don't curse me out. Now Kyle turns her attention back to Erika and she says, you know what, Erika? I just want you to know that you're going to get through this. You're going to come out on the other side. You're too beautiful. You're too talented. You have a lot going for you. Like, you're going to make it out. I said, are y'all insane? This is not about Erika. This is about the victims. These victims might never be okay. No one has any sympathy for Erika Jayne. Not the woman who was bragging about spending $40,000 a month on glam. Not the woman with 3 closets and 2 private jets and a $20+ million art collection. Not that woman. Baby, nobody is crying Argentina for Miss Erika Jayne. And you sound absolutely ridiculous to try to give Erika a pep talk like she's the one who needs it. I would have loved for either Sutton or Garcelle to have jumped in and interrupted Miss Kyle. Like, girl, I know you are not sitting up here trying to console Erika when the victims are the ones who need consoling. They need their money. That's really what they do need. But you're not going to sit up here and act like Erika is some victim who's going through it. Kyle's going on and on with all this ass kissing, talking about how Erika has always been the most supportive. So now Kyle says that she loves when her girlfriends succeed because that makes the group that much more powerful. Now Erika turns to Sutton and says, Sutton, that's really awesome about you opening your store. So Sutton says in her confessional, like, thanks for the compliment, I guess, but are you trying to come after my store now? She's just not feeling this change of events with Erika, and I wouldn't trust it either. Then they show Erika's confessional, and the producer is asking her, is this your way of smoothing things over with Sutton? And she says, absolutely not. Like, I'm just doing this so I don't ruin everybody else's time, but no, like, I don't like Sutton. I'm not smoothing anything over. Like, I'm just trying to be nice. Like, honestly, if you and Sutton don't speak, that should not ruin anybody else's time on the trip. And if it does, then that's on them. Because I'll be damned if 2 people not speaking on a girl's trip is going to ruin my time. I just feel like Erika is a liar, because if you truly did not like Sutton, if you were that angry at Sutton, you would not be speaking to her, period. You wouldn't be complimenting her. You wouldn't be reminiscing over some good times that y'all had together. It would be none of that. So miss me with it. Just say that you're feeling some type of way and you do feel bad and you want to talk to Sutton again. I said you probably have regrets about being nasty to Sutton because she was the only one in this group who offered you some money. And you're probably thinking, you know, let me butter Sutton up again so that I can get some money in case I really do go belly up. But I digress. It's the next morning and we see Garcelle and Sutton talking on Garcelle's balcony. So Garcelle's like, girl, what was all that about last night? Like, Erika was talking to you like nothing ever happened. Sutton's like, yeah, like, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it's so weird. Like, you know, what's going on? Then Rinna calls Sutton and they're on FaceTime with her. And so Garcelle brings it up to Rinna and she's like, did you see how Erika was talking to Sutton? Rinna's like, yeah, I know. I mean, Erika was like a different person last night. It felt like we were getting the real Erika. So while they're talking, Erika is in the room directly above Garcelle. So she hears them while she's getting her makeup done and she's like, wait a second, to her glam team, let me go hear what they're saying because it sounds like they're talking about me. Erika goes to her balcony and she's listening like this child, like, wait, I think I hear my name. And then she's like, hey, you know I can hear you. And so Garcelle and Sutton are like, oh my gosh, like she heard everything that we're saying, like this is so crazy. So then Garcelle's like, hey girl, you know, like what's up? I would have told Erika, we sure are talking about you. Come on down, honey. If you have a problem with it, come on down. We can talk about it face to face. I would have been just as cool and as collected as I could be. So now we see all the ladies doing activities. Crystal and Rinna are doing, I think like yoga in the water, and they're doing the yoga on a paddleboard. That looks super cool. Side note, every time I see anybody doing yoga, I want to get back into it. I used to do yoga all the time when I was in college. When I tell you that yoga is that girl, I mean, you become so flexible. I was doing those advanced poses, like, it is so cool. It's so relaxing. Like your body just feels so good. I really want to get back into it. I'm going to need to start back though in the beginner courses because it's been a minute. Then we see Erika and Kyle playing pickleball, and they cannot play. We already know that Erika is not a good tennis player, so she was not doing well with pickleball. So anyhow, they finish playing a little round, and then they go and get some champagne and start talking. Erika starts thanking Kyle for being a good friend, for just being there by her side. And then she talks about how she has $0, like she's broke. So Kyle's looking like, oh, like, that's terrible. Did y'all notice how Kyle had a slight smirk on her face when Erika was saying that she was broke? And Kyle gives me very jealous and competitive. So I would not be surprised if she is reveling in the fact that Erika is now broke. Erika goes on about how she can't wallow in this and how her lawyers told her that this is the most courageous thing that they've ever heard anybody say because Erika told them that she is prepared to walk away with nothing. Erika, you are nobody's martyr. Nobody in their right mind feels sorry for you. Absolutely not. You've got some damn nerve acting like you're the one going through so much when these victims have nothing. Because say what you want, Erika might not have the money that she once had, but she is still on a major platform, on one of the biggest networks, on one of the hottest reality shows that pays the best salaries. You are still collecting a hefty check being on this show, so you'll be all right. So now we flip back over to Crystal and Rinna at the pool. They finished their yoga and Garcelle and Sutton join them. Child, they bring up the whole Erika mess again about how Erika was talking to Sutton. Sutton says, I was so shocked and like, this kind of gave me hope for our friendship. I said, girl, what are you talking about? Gave you hope about what? Like, this is when I got annoyed with Sutton because how do you even have a glimmer of hope when this lady cursed you out, called you everything but a child of God, and threatened you? I'm not attached to people like that where you can call me whatever you want, treat me badly, and then I'm still hoping and pining for your friendship. Like, I'm just not that person. It really gave me Heather and Jen vibes. If you guys watch Salt Lake City, then you know that there's this kind of dynamic where Jen Shah treats Heather bad, but Heather is still pining for Jen's friendship for some odd reason. I just said, Sutton, close the door and don't look back. Now Crystal changes the topic and she's like, well guys, today's my last day being 37, like my birthday's tomorrow. So they're like, oh my gosh, like how cool. And then Garcelle's like, strippers, strippers, strippers. And they start laughing. And then Garcelle says, Crystal, have you ever been with a woman before? I said, Garcelle, that was so out of left field. Like, what made you want to ask her that out of nowhere? Crystal's hesitating to answer and Garcelle's like, oh snap, like, okay, like, well, I'll take that as a yes then because no answer means a yes. And then Crystal jumps on Garcelle and she starts like fake humping her. They're all laughing. And then Sutton and them make a joke like, that's a violation. And then Garcelle says, I mean, yeah, was it a violation? Yeah, but did I like it? Yeah. But again, Garcelle, what prompted you to ask Crystal if she had been with a woman before? Like, I was just so confused by that. Like, were they talking about that before and then production maybe took it out? Like, I don't know. I was like, girl, how do you go from it's Crystal's birthday to, so Crystal, have you ever done anything with a woman? like, girl, what? But we get to the final scene of the night. Kathy's excited because she has hired a celebrity chef for them for dinner. They're gonna be having dinner on a boat and she's just really pumped. So they all arrive to the marina and baby, this is when things got real strange. While they're walking to the boat, Sutton and Erika are walking together and Erika starts apologizing to Sutton for how she lashed out at Sutton. So now Sutton says, it's okay, Erika. You don't have to apologize. So I said, now hold up. This woman cursed you out and threatened you. She does owe you an apology. Then Sutton says in her confessional how she doesn't really trust this mild apology from Erika. I said, baby, I don't know what to believe anymore because you're telling Erika to her face, well, Erika, it's okay, girl. Like, you don't have to apologize to me. I get it. Now you're in your confessional saying, I don't trust this apology. I have never seen a cast where it is so much flip-flopping and double-talking and just overall stupidity on everybody's part. And then when Sutton said, oh, Erika, you're just too pretty to be mad at me, I said, okay, Sutton. So it's evident that you're going to sit up here and kiss up to Erika too now. Okay. All right. So I guess Garcelle is the only real one that we have left. So they all get on the boat, and when I tell you, I was dying at how the captain had to lift Sutton up because Sutton couldn't just walk up those little steps. I said a mess. So they're all on the boat. Erika brings up how she's under scrutiny right now with this whole case, and how if she looks too good or she looks like she's having too good of a time, then she obviously must be guilty of something. But then if she looks sad, then it's like, oh, she must be guilty. So she says that she's damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. Like, she just can't win. Crystal turns to Erika and says, Erika, I have to say, I'm really enjoying you on this trip and I'm having a great time. Sutton says that she's having a good time as well. And then Sutton and Crystal embrace and they vow that they're not going to fight anymore, how they had a rocky start in the beginning, but now they're having a smooth sailing. So now Garcelle says, okay, guys, let's play a game. Let's play Never Have I Ever. Now, y'all know how I feel about that game. I feel like that game is only for one purpose, to be nosy and find out everybody's business. Kathy interjects saying, I did background checks on everybody in this group, so there's nothing that I don't know about each and every one of y'all. I said, well, damn. Garcelle starts it off with, never have I ever stolen anything. Dorit makes a joke like, well, I mean, I stole some hearts in high school, but that's about it. Erika's not pleased, and she says in her confessional, really? Like, either say it with your chest or don't say it at all. Now the questions start getting a bit more fun and a bit more sexual. Rinna says, never have I ever had anal. And I think, was it Sutton who took a sip? And they're like, oh my gosh, Sutton, really? And then Dorit says, never have I ever had sex in an airplane bathroom. So everybody drinks because everybody, for the most part, has been part of the Mile High Club. Then Kathy Hilton says, never have I ever had sex in the doctor's office. So they're all like, wait, what? Her and Erika take a drink. Garcelle's shocked and she's like, well, damn, I mean, Kathy Hilton is a freak. So Kathy says, I'm not a freak, I'm just adventurous. I said, really, a doctor's office? That was definitely a quickie. Like, I would have been too nervous, like, oh my gosh, like, the doctor's gonna come back anytime, like, we can't do this. I don't know, like, a doctor's office? She must have been real horny, honey, because I'm not thinking about sex at the doctor's office. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll put that on my bucket list. I was screaming because the captain was right there steering the boat, and they were all like, Captain, please don't mind us. Like, don't pay any attention to these questions and these answers. Like, mind your business. And he was getting his entire life too, because he was looking like, oh, these some freaks on this boat. Garcelle says, never have I ever, I guess, strapped on and had sex with a man that way. So they're all like, no, like, I haven't tried that. Erika says, I'd be down. I just need somebody to shut the F up and don't say anything. So they're all like, okay, like, to each their own, that's cool. So now Erika goes on this rant about how people need to shut the F up. So they're all looking at her like, okay, girl, you're taking this to a place that it does not need to go. Sutton's like, okay, let's change gears here. Like, let's have some fun like we were having before. So Sutton says in her confessional, when it comes to Erika, there always seems to be some like underlying anger with her. And then she throws some shade saying, well, you know what? If I lost all my money, I'd be angry too. I said, okay, Sutton, this is what I want to see. I want to see you read down. And we all know that Sutton has tons of money. She would be in tears if something ever happened to her fortune. So now all of the ladies except for Kathy and Sutton leave the table. Kathy and Sutton start talking. Sutton starts crying because she's upset about this whole thing between her and Erika. She says, I just don't like fighting with my friends, and this is really taking a toll on me. I said, Sutton, why are you crying? Like, this woman threatened you. Why do you even want her friendship anymore? Like, I just was getting so annoyed. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm empathetic when people start crying. Like, I cry a lot myself. I'm sensitive, but there are some things that I'm not crying about. I would be paying Erika dust every time I saw her.
And you're going to always get it again and again and again.
Erika has shown that she wants yes men around her. She does not want to be questioned. She's mean, she's nasty, she's cold. She's able to flip on you the way she flipped on you. That is not your friend. Please stop crying about her. Like, I was just irritated because I really thought that Sutton had made peace with her and Erika not being friends, but it turns out that she's still pining for their friendship. But y'all, that's where the episode ends. Like I said earlier, this episode was very much a filler episode. I can't wait for the finale. The finale does look very good, but I'm really excited for this reunion. But y'all, thank you all for watching this recap. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.